Greetings, Illuminati, back at the workshop, and I am answering questions today and trying to make videos to show you your questions. These are unrehearsed, they are uncensored. I might cut them down for time if I just have a big void of me scratching my head and looking at something, but basically just incorporating everything into it to show you the process of how I would deal using the Halumin-C to shoot a difficult situation. But this actually is not a difficult question. It was just a question about what do copper coins look like? So we have different copper coins. I'm going to show them to this camera. Everything from a dark coin in a slab to shiny copper in a slab to shiny copper in a sleeve, or I don't know what you, a stapled folder, I guess. Something like a flop or a flip, and copper in a sleeve. This is actually a toned penny, and I'm going to keep it in this little sleeve. So this might address a couple of questions, but I've gotten a number of questions about copper and shooting coins in these different containers. So the Halumin-C is designed to hold slabs, and it's designed to hold, with a pedestal, hold individual items, unslabbed raw coins or coins in these types of holders. These are a little more difficult just because they're not balanced, so there might be a little bit of floppiness to it. These are also trickier, to be honest. This is the hardest to shoot because that's not a flat surface, so it's reflective and it kind of is wavy. So the slab is flat and it's rigid, so the reflections, the lighting is designed to stay out of those reflections, whereas this, because it has kind of a wobble to it, things are going to show that wouldn't show in a slab. But I am not here to hide anything from you, so I'm going to show you what those different things look like, and you can adjust accordingly. The other thing to keep in mind, which I've been saying in a lot of my videos, is all of the accessory holders are designed to fit in a 22 millimeter post hole. So the actual post is 21.5 millimeters in diameter. We live in a world where you can 3D print things. So if we don't have an accessory holder that works for you, and you're not a 3D printer, if you are a 3D printer, you probably already have this. But if you're not a 3D printer, you might know somebody that is, and if you don't know anybody, there are online services that will help you design and print just about anything you need. So just because we don't have a holder for it, because we haven't got enough of a demand, we're currently just sort of covering the broad bases. But don't let that stop you, because the lighting can work and you can basically kind of come up with your own holders. Even if you make it out of dowels and a piece of wood, should be a pretty easy thing to incorporate into there. So, all right, enough talking, let's get to it. My screen recording is recording, and I'm going to put the lid on. You know all the basic parts of the Halumin-C, so I'm not going to give you a product tour. I'm going to go right to it, and we're going to deal with things that give me headaches. So let's just get this out of the way. This is the hardest one for sure. We're in a piece of, it's not acrylic, I think it's PET plastic sleeve. And we're not going to take the coin out of there. So what is that going to look like in that condition? It's going to have some reflections that are not our favorite thing, and they're kind of what the Halumin-C was designed to get rid of for slabs, but it is what it is. Some of you have items that you do not want to take out of those. So I'm going to put that in there. Hopefully it won't fall off. All right. So the first thing that we always do, let me put the camera on here. First thing that we always do is we set that sliders 3 and 4 to about 50%. And what that does is that makes the halo light up all the way around. And then I'm going to hopefully not knock this off. There we go. So the halo is level, and the lighting is about 50% around that halo. So first thing I do is press and hold. Oh, see how it brightens up there. It's actually why we do it at 50%, because it really wants to brighten it up. And we don't want it to do that. So auto exposure, autofocus lock, that will keep your camera from trying to compensate and shift the settings when you turn the lights off, and then you can go to black and not have the camera trying to brighten up the exposure. All right, so we bring that back up. Now we're working with the light. So the first thing that we want to do is maybe just put some normal kind of light on that, just like that. Now, this is a good overall cover for the coin, but this is actually a toned penny, and it's in that slab. So in order for us to see the toning, that halo is not the best light to do that. It is usually this tone light. When we bring that up, this is when we're gonna get some, there you go. Look at that pink toning that just came in on that. But also we've got these reflections, which we can't really do anything about. We've also got the scrapes that are on the case, which is also kind of a part of the gig. But that actually is a very good shot, just like that. And I can show you what the individual lights look like. So that tone light goes off and that toning goes away. If I turn off the halo and just use the tone light, it's actually not a bad shot. And a lot of people that are into coins would probably prefer that. So as a photographer, I like things that have a certain amount of balance. I just have an aesthetic that I like, but there's no right or wrong. It's really, when you look at the coin, what do you need to see for it to be an accurate depiction in the picture? So use your own judgment. That's just the tone light. You can move the tone light to where it gets the right location for the gleam. I'm going to turn the tone light off and turn up the axial light just to see if we get any coverage on that before we start getting a weird glare. And not really. So for the, oh, well, all right, maybe a mixture of those. I guess that helps a little bit, but it really actually just kind of hazes up the sleeve itself. So my preference would be a shot that was something like that. But you take it and leave it however you like. So let's go to the next item. We're gonna do an older, darker copper coin in a slab, because this is definitely something that people come up to us at the shows all the time. And usually if they have a coin that they want us to test because they have problems shooting it, it is either a toned coin or it is a dark copper coin in a slab, like probably 8 times out of 10. I'm gonna switch the holders out to the slab holder. Drop that guy in there. There we go. All right, so that is just with the tone light. We didn't change anything on the settings from that penny, and that actually looks pretty good. I can move the light around. It's not a bad look for this coin. Let's start with the halo, the open cylindrical light again, and we'll look and see what we can get out of that. So I'm just rocking that halo back and forth, and I have the halo at a brightness about 50%. So I always have room to go up if I need to. I like to never max it out, because if you just need it a little brighter, you got to readjust your camera if you do that. But that looks pretty good, except for the coin itself is not actually that brown. Maybe, yeah, I should have maybe re-hit that. All right, one of the things that I pointed out in a previous video, but when you white balance, when you put that auto exposure, auto focus lock, you want to do it around some white material on the slab, because that will also color balance it when it locks it in. So it will give you a little bit more accurate portrayal of the color. So if you do that and you find that like things look weird, like green or blue, try to get some white in there when you tap it, and that will help a lot. So it's locked in, so I can go to black, bring up one side, bring up that tone light. And that's actually not a bad combo. That looks like the coin. So that's pretty good. Let's see what it looks like with the axial light by itself. No. That we're getting that axial in the slab before. So one of the things, the axial light in a slab, it performs amazing when you're dealing with a shinier coin or a brighter coin that's in there that has some amount of gleam. But if it is a really flat, non-reflective coin, the slab itself will glow far before the coin will. So the axial light, it doesn't provide a lot of value for you with a darker coin, except for it can illuminate the slab a little bit and help bring out the actual details, like the writing on the slab. So this is a mixture of sliders 1 and 2, and then I can bring in part of the halo if I want to, kind of adjust that. So now we have the slab and the coin pretty accurately lit to how they look. So that's good. Dark copper coin in a slab. Let's go to the next. We're gonna do, these are progressively getting easier, by the way, so the results will look better because the coins are just easier problems to solve, at least for the Halumin, not necessarily for everybody. But we'll do one more slab and then I'll switch the container out on a really bright copper coin that's in a sleeve. But here we go. You can see this is a copper English penny, I think. And it's not a proof, but it's got a lot of gleam to it. So it should show really well in that. See, right away, that thing is pretty sparkly. I'm gonna reset this focus again, find a little piece of white in there so it kind of gives you a more accurate overall. And then we'll start, so that's not a bad exposure, but let's go to 0 again, set the halo flat, and we're gonna bring up those lights. So this is inspection mode right here. See how just by rocking it, I can see the different elements of the coin. I'll bring that up a little brighter. So I can see the relief and I can see the writing really well, even better than I can with just when you're looking at it with your naked eye. But if I'm trying to take a picture of it, that's not really the light that I would be using by itself. I do like the way that it builds that relief, but we're gonna bring in the axial light first, just a little bit, so it doesn't create a haze, but it'll fill out that coin a little bit. And then that magical tone light, that will really, really make it come to life. Like, boom, see where that gleam is suddenly now. I can shift it just by moving that, finding kind of the right portraiture light for it. This actually might even work better to have that a little darker, or to bring that light on the back. It's not bad. Actually looks pretty good just like that, with a little bit of the axial up and the tone light, so that we're kind of giving a little bit of portrait light on the face. That probably looks the cleanest. I'm gonna bring the open cylindrical light back in just as, oh, I do like that. You bring that up enough that it brightens it up, and that looks really good too. So I've gone to that, and now, last but not least, we're doing another copper coin that is significantly shinier. It's not, it's almost a proof. I think it's just a brand new coin. It's very shiny. So this is good because we haven't done, I don't think I've done this one before. All right, so we start with the focus again, turn everything off, and see how different coins, like those last two looked really good in the similar light. This one looked weird right off the bat. So there's a lot of white in this setup, so it's gonna color balance a lot more easily. All right, so see how the field is like really dark on that because it's more mirror-like, so it's reflecting basically what it sees, which is a dark upper surface. I can rock that halo back and forth. Not a whole lot of reflection on the film. So I'll take one part of that down and I'll bring up the axial light again first, which is slider 1. Now see how the other coins, like they had a haze over them before you got anything out of the actual axial light on the coin, but because that one is shiny, it's not quite a proof, but it's like an uncirculated coin, so it has a real good shine to it. That actually started to glow before you got any haze on the coin itself. And then once I bring that tone light in, that will be probably a game changer on this. Or not. I guess there's actually not a lot of cartwheel in that, so that's interesting. See, I'm surprised all the time. Let me take, yeah, so it actually works well with a combination. The tone light definitely helps, but it's not the only solution there. I don't know what you prefer. Tell me in the comments. But I think that's pretty interesting. So if we just go see the tone light by itself, because it's proof, there's not enough like surface area that's not reflective to give you to fill it in. If something is like flat, it will illuminate better with just a point light like that. But if it's super shiny, it needs a diffuse like reflection, like you're lighting with the reflection and not with the direct light. So definitely a balance of the two of these. This gives you the field, but you want that tone light in there to illuminate some of the contours. And then the halo really, I think, helps to pull the whole thing together. But let me shoot those individually for you, just so you have some samples. And this is just with the axial light. And then the axial and the tone light working together to work their magic. I hope that that helps understand what the process of working with the Halumin-C is like and how much time it might take if you kind of go into a new coin completely blind and you've never shot it before. But it's fun to play around and discover new things, and I hope that this was useful to somebody. I'll keep making more of these. If you have any additional questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to either answer them in a comment, or if it's a big question, try to make a video about it. Take care.